Mother-in-law deliberately poisons her grandchild with an allergen. My 3-year-old daughter has several severe food allergies. Peanuts and eggs are the worst. She also can't have dairy or bananas. Mother-in-law is super obsessed with my daughter. This is our only child and mother-in-law's only grandchild, so I try to be understanding. I don't say anything about it when mother-in-law buys $300 dresses that my daughter will only wear once. I've encouraged a relationship between them. I've let mother-in-law have her way on holidays. I've never actually left them alone though. I can't explain exactly, but it just didn't feel right. Mother-in-law hasn't pushed for alone time like I've read about here. She just offered to babysit, but let it go when we declined. Mother-in-law has always doubted my daughter's allergies. She's insisted that her princess of a daughter could never have something wrong with her. However, she's never tested to see if it's true. Until today. Mother-in-law was overplaying dress-up with my daughter. I had a horrible headache, so I asked mother-in-law to watch my daughter so I could lie down for an hour. She agreed. 20 minutes later, I'm woken up to mother-in-law shrieking that there's something wrong with the baby. I go running to daughter's room and she's gasping for breath and her lips are turning blue. I scream at mother-in-law to call 911 and use an EpiPen on my daughter. My daughter was able to take a deep breath and I noticed she smelled like banana. The paramedics show up. We live about a mile from a fire station. Start an IV and give daughter meds so she can breathe. I tell one of the paramedics that my mother-in-law fed my daughter something. He found part of a cookie on the floor. He confronts mother-in-law who confesses she gave my daughter a peanut butter banana cookie because she didn't know it would hurt her. I texted DH and ride to the hospital with daughter. They admitted her for observation and DH met us there. Mother-in-law called him waiting about how she was just trying to show us nothing is wrong with daughter. We're just too paranoid and have such odd ideas about daughter's health. We ate healthy and daughter has received all the vaccines she can have. Oh, and we use sunblock. Odd, right? She admitted to DH that she's been making allergen-laced cookies for more than a year. She bakes a huge batch and freezes them. She puts one in her purse every time she sees daughter just in case she gets a chance to slip it to her. I can't even wrap my head around this. Daughter is asking when mother-in-law is going to come see her. She wants to show grandma her pretty bracelet. Hospital band with stickers on it. I'm so devastated right now. I never suspected mother-in-law would do something like this. Edit. The hospital has already reported it to police. A detective is going to come tomorrow to take statements and talk about the next step. This mother-in-law is an absolute psychopath. Not only did she completely disregard OP's warnings, she actively tried to harm her own granddaughter. That's unbelievable. There is no way that this is just her trying to prove that her granddaughter is quote-unquote perfect. This was a very clear attempt on this child's life, and that needs to be punished. Update 1. So the detective just left. He got copies of everything mother-in-law sent DH, plus 11 voicemails she left me last night. My phone has been off. Apparently several of them were just her screaming that she's going to unalive herself because she can't live without her baby. The detective doesn't know what's going to happen because he's never seen this before. But right now they're going to take her into custody for threats of unaliving herself. The district attorney will have a look at the case next week. She also went on a huge shopping spree. DH went home to get a few things for daughter and her front porch was crammed full of new toys. DH loaded them up and after lunch, daughter is going to give them away to other kids in the hospital. Daughter's doing great. We're at an amazing children's hospital. They've sent a counselor to work with her a bit and we're going to continue with that while we navigate the next couple of weeks. She's having bouts of hysteria due to the steroids, but that's expected. She's getting doses of Benadryl for a lingering full-body itchy rash, so that calms things down quite a bit. DH bought her brand new frozen pajamas and she's getting all her favorite foods on demand, so overall she's pretty happy. She is still asking for mother-in-law. The counselor suggested telling daughter, "Grandma made you very sick on purpose, so she's in timeout and can't see you. We don't hurt other people, right?" So we've just been repeating that. DH's family is pretty split. Everyone is kind of in shock, but he's too angry to care about anyone who doubts our reaction. There are a few people who are saying she needs help and it's our duty to support her through this. Nope. Our duty is to our daughter. Full stop. That woman will never see us again. Daughter and I are going to stay with my parents in Ireland for a while. We're leaving at the end of the month. DH is on board with this. He's talking about us moving a few states away just to make sure mother-in-law can't get to daughter. He took next week off work to be there for our daughter. This could have been so much worse. Daughter will make a full recovery. She won't remember this. We'll be okay. I feel like I just have to reiterate it once more. It doesn't make any sense to me that this grandmother would intentionally try to harm her granddaughter. And the fact that she has no remorse either is very upsetting. This mother-in-law is a complete psycho. Update 2. In my last post, I explained how my mother-in-law intentionally fed my daughter a cookie laced with allergens. You should read that first part if you haven't yet. I don't know how to link, so hopefully the bot does that for me. So mother-in-law is being charged with endangerment of a child. Our lawyer has told us that she will probably not spend any time in jail. In any case, we have a restraining order against her and warned my daughter's preschool. She will never lay eyes on my child again if I can help it. There will be no second chance for her to unalive my child. I don't really feel like justice will be served. We do intend to pursue a civil case against mother-in-law for the hospital bill. My daughter and I spent an amazing month in Ireland with my family. My mom spoiled her so completely that my daughter has only asked for Granny, my mother, and has not mentioned Nana, mother-in-law, so that's been nice. My daughter is physically recovered 100%. We are working closely with her therapist to make everything go as smoothly as possible for her. She doesn't seem to be suffering any emotional trauma at this point. DH is also in therapy to help him deal with the trauma of suddenly losing his mother. He's really having a rough time of it. He is rock steady on the resolve to cut her out entirely though. I sincerely hope that OP's mother-in-law never sees this child again. Purposefully endangering the life of a child is completely unforgivable. OP's making the right choice by cutting off her mother-in-law here. Update 3. Y'all, going this long without seeing my daughter has apparently made my mother-in-law lose it. So, recap. I'm the one whose mother-in-law intentionally gave my daughter allergen-laced cookies. My daughter spent a week in the hospital recovering, and we cut mother-in-law out cold. She was charged and got off with a slap on the wrist. Yesterday, I got a call from daughter's preschool. Mother-in-law tried to pick her up. Told the staff there was a family emergency. Luckily, I got the advice here to tell the preschool the situation, so they locked down and stalled until the police got there. Mother-in-law violated her restraining order, so there may be some legal action, but I haven't been told anything yet. Daughter is fine. She has no idea anything happened. They locked down her classroom and played a series of very noisy games until it was over. We were moving several states away in June and not telling mother-in-law. She'll figure out we're gone after it's too late to bother us anymore. I'm not sure what else to say about this. The mother-in-law's obsessive behavior is very concerning. Update 4. So my crazy allergen-giving monster of a mother-in-law somehow found out the day we were moving and showed up at her house. She parked behind the moving truck and said she wouldn't budge until we agreed to talk things out. Police were called and she was arrested for violating a restraining order, which I'm told could result in as much as 1 year in jail. I believe she has to go to court. Her car was towed, the movers finished up, and now we're all safely in a new state. All 4 of us, because we recently found out we'll be adding a new little one to our family in January. Mother-in-law does not know. The new house is under an LLC, as suggested. Our lawyer thought it was an excellent course of action. The new school is on hard lockdown. We're really fortunate that we can manage a nice private school with excellent security in a new state. I've had to go back to work part-time to cover the cost, but the peace of mind is worth it. My daughter and husband are going to continue therapy. DH is going to go to grief counseling because he feels as though his mother suddenly passed away. He is very adamant that mother-in-law never see our children, but losing his mother has been very difficult for him. If, heaven forbid, he were to waver on that, my children and I would be on the next flight to Ireland. Oh, and my daughter has started this program at a hospital nearby where she's exposed to her allergens in a tiny but incremental doses. So far it's going well with only a mild reaction one time. Thank you all for your support and advice during this ordeal. I'm glad that OP was able to finally get her family out of there. I would be terrified with the prospect of that mother-in-law possibly being able to show up. It's a good thing she doesn't know where they went to. Update 5. I'm changing Unaliving Cookies to Cookie Monster because that's a way better name someone suggested. Anyways, DH works for a large company, multiple offices in multiple states, etc. We told the new location not to release any info about husband. Don't confirm that he works here, nothing. Unalive Cookies called the old location and played the forgetful old lady and managed to get the number of the new location DH transferred to. She then proceeded to call the new location. The receptionist didn't get the memo apparently and gave her DH's extension. As soon as he picked up, he was treated to ear-piercing wailing. Not talking or crying, just full-on banshee wails. He hung up, she called again and again. She left 12 full voicemails of this before his mailbox was full. Then she switched back to calling the receptionist and wailing at her. DH was called into a meeting with HR and had to provide copies of the RO. Legal is sending her a letter. The police in Old Town have been notified. IT had to set up a whole new extension for DH. I believe they've blocked her numbers as well, but it won't stop her. But now, Unalive Cookies knows where we moved. At least we already have security cameras, I guess. Fantastic. I feel like she's already ruined the new town. This mother-in-law is terrifying. I feel like this entire story played out like the script to a horror movie, complete with a cliffhanger and everything. I really hope that this mother-in-law doesn't get to this new town to endanger her granddaughter again. And going through all of that trouble and only crying whenever the husband got on the phone is absolutely psychopathic behavior. Guilt tripping only really works when the other person is actually in the wrong, and the only person that's been in the wrong this entire story was mother-in-law. Anyways, I hope that OP is doing well now with their family, hopefully without being bothered all that much by their mother-in-law. I, 24M, have been accused of sending explicit pictures to my coworker, 26F. Let's call my coworker Rachel. Over the last few months, I've become good friends with Rachel. She lives with her boyfriend, but we've been flirting with each other over the past few weeks. After we were paired for scavenger hunt during office retreat. Up until the office retreat, our only medium of communication, the app we use for teamwork, Slack, 2 groups. One is for office chat and the other group comprises of 20-something from work. More of an after-hours chat group to hang out together for a drink/dinner. Me and Rachel were just friends until our office retreat last month. We started having our own private Slack conversation and then later continued our conversation on iMessage. Both agreed it would be risky to communicate with each other via office account. I did know about her boyfriend a week after our office retreat, but she was the one who brought it up and didn't mind me flirting with her and vice versa. She equally flirted back. Honestly, being single, it didn't occur to me then that I should have stopped messaging her after she dropped "have BF message." We piqued our casual conversation by exchanging tens of messages every day. She did ask me if I would like to join her for drinks after work at this bar 2 blocks down the road, and I asked her if we could choose someplace else, because I didn't want to be spotted with her by some coworker. We did go out. This was 2 weeks ago. We later went out on 5 other dates, including 2 dinners, but I swear, it was platonic. We termed our dates as an experience to try out new places. We haven't kissed or held hands or all those gestures. I agree we flirted back and forth, but then we become close friends. I took a week off to visit my family back home, and out of nowhere, I was shocked to learn that she had posted a screenshot of our iMessage thread late last evening. I was shocked to see that thread with my explicit picture, which I haven't sent her. I haven't even sent her an iMessage in the last 2 days. Last message on my end reads "Merry Christmas," Christmas tree emoji, on Christmas Eve, and her replying back with a thanks and a bunch of emojis. I'm quite certain that she photoshopped the remainder of that thread with "me, thinking about you, me, some other guy's inappropriate picture," and she posted that screenshot, along with the caption "nice guys." She hasn't even redacted my name. I've been trying to reach her since the last 10 hours. She's been on Facebook all over. She hasn't replied to my calls or any further messages yet after the post. One of my coworkers called me and sent me that screenshot from his Facebook when he saw the post. Honestly, I don't understand why she's cooked up the story. I couldn't see the post because I was apparently blocked before she posted it. Seems like she has even blocked me on iMessage. I've received numerous messages on Facebook and texts. I couldn't sleep. I've decided to go to cops in an hour. I've even sent an email out to our company's HR last night explaining that it wasn't me who sent that pic, and attached screenshots on my end. Thought this might escalate to HR sooner or later. I also sent Rachel an email, trying to be as polite as I could as why she posted that screenshot, which we both know wasn't something I did. What's stressing me out is the damage it has already done to my reputation by the people who have seen that post. I've asked a trusted coworker/friend to send me screenshots of comments to that post every so often, since I can't view that post. Truly appreciate any inputs you guys might have. This was out of nowhere. What should I do moving forward besides contacting the cops? I worry that my word won't hold against hers. Can I ask the cops or HR to personally let me vet her inbox and validate that against her post? Because I know that would prove my truth that I haven't sent her that pic. Please help. TLDR. Coworker, close friend, posts a modified message thread on social media claiming that I sent her inappropriate pictures. Update. I was advised to file a complaint in California since I live and work there. I'm gonna call a lawyer who happens to be my mom's cousin in California. It's been very, very stressful to endure being accused of sending inappropriate pictures when you haven't. The embarrassment is driving me crazy, and loads of messages in my inbox. I have this urge to reply to each one of them explaining it wasn't me, but that might backfire. I don't know. This is a very dangerous spot for OP. His coworker is putting him in a compromising position and he can't really do much about it right now. It's not like he has access to her phone and he only has his word in his messages. And not everybody's going to believe that right off the bat, unfortunately. Update. A lot has changed since Friday. Most stressful time of my life yet. I flew back to California Friday afternoon. I also hired myself a lawyer. The head of HR called early evening and said she wanted to sort this matter out beyond office hours. Rachel, not her real name, she is the one who accused me, didn't show up at work Friday. She was supposed to be working through New Year, since very few personnel have been manning our work over the holidays. HR scheduled the meeting at the executive conference room, which is 4 floors on top of our work area. She did advise me not to communicate with other coworkers till this matter is looked into by HR. I informed her that I've hired a lawyer for any ramifications that might unfold from this incident. She assured me that they will be fair and try to mediate this matter, as if I actually did send that pic. I rushed to office Saturday morning. Thank God it was weekend and holidays. I would have had a panic attack if I had to come to the office on a typical weekday. I was early by at least an hour. The conference room was filled with a senior executive, 2 other women who seemed like junior level HR personnel, and head of our HR. Rachel showed up right on time. Sorry for detailing, but I remember all of this like it just happened a minute ago. After an awkward start, I showed the HR my iMessage thread. Rachel was very defensive and she said something like, "I was shocked and terrorized when I received that message," and she claimed she threw her phone in anger and her phone stopped working. She got her phone with a cracked screen. WTF. She also claimed that she didn't reply to my messages and shut out because of that unusable phone. But she didn't hesitate when HR asked her to surrender her broken phone or hand it to our IT guy. Oh, I also asked if she can show our iMessage thread through cloud, and she claimed it doesn't use iCloud. Two things. She owns an iPhone, iPad, and a MacBook. It's very unlikely that she doesn't use iCloud for messages. Moreover, if she claims her screen was broken, how the heck was I blocked? I know she had her read receipts turned on from our conversation history, but none of my past messages had any message read notifications. Anyhow, our IT guy dropped by, took a backup, and recovered on someone else's iPhone by afternoon. During this time, we took a break and decided to reconvene by afternoon. The IT guy came with restored phone, and guess what? Her message inbox was empty. She was also asked to log into her Apple account, and even then her message inbox was still empty. She started panicking, saying that phone drop might have broken some chip or something. Our IT guy checked her phone. We were asked to sign a consent before turning our personal devices to the company, and did something with work profile config or something. All her app data were intact, except notes, contacts, and messages and photos. Our IT guy gave his conclusion that it was deliberately deleted. This was a few hours ago. Okay, since all of this was recorded, not on camera, but documented by one of the junior HR personnel, our meeting was adjourned, and we had to turn in our phones. Rachel was also asked to turn in her MacBook and iPad as the IT guy believed they can recover from her other devices. And oh, our IT guy called what he said was our in-house iOS expert, who devised work profiles for all Apple devices of employees, whether company issues or bring your own device. This was around 4. By 7 p.m., I received a call from our HR where she said that they haven't been able to recover any messages from either of her Apple devices. She also confirmed that IT thinks those messages might have been deliberately deleted, but they cannot prove that for certain, something that's required by company bylaws to terminate her immediately. Another thing, I was told on Friday that I cannot sue any current employees, which means that her hint of terminate her immediately makes me wonder if they're going to actually fire her. I spoke with my lawyer, who is certain that they will let go of her and that we can file a lawsuit of our own. Not sure what the future is going to hold for me, but all I'm looking forward to in the next few days is a legal obligation wherein Rachel is forced to publicly apologize everywhere for accusing me of sending her explicit pictures. I haven't spoken to her or been able to determine the true intention for framing me into this. I'll be going into the office late evening on Monday to talk to those IT guys and collect my phone back. I was clear to collect my phone, not sure of Rachel. I might also ask them if they found anything helpful, since at this point in this time they are the only people besides Rachel that can see what's on her device. Still 2 unanswered questions. If she would be fired, so that we can file a lawsuit against her, and why the heck did she do it? Sorry. I saw so many comment notifications. I wasn't able to respond to all of those after flying back to California and the ruckus in between. I'll try to respond since it's going to be Sunday soon. It's also interesting to know that IT guys don't have access to iMessages even after having installed work profiles. We had a 30-minute video explaining what Apple Work Profile is and how it works. Rachel's demeanor was as if she was a victim of an abuse. I'm really thankful to my coworkers, one of whom actually picked me up from the airport and helped me get some dinner, while this other coworker talked me over to not do anything crazy that I might regret. To be honest, I was going to send her a trashy email for having ruined my life, but I was reminded by a friend that that's going to hit me back if this was scrutinized any further. Oh, I also intend to reply to Facebook messages once we can initiate the process to sue her. I'm glad the actions of his coworker didn't seem to ruin OP's life. It also does seem like his other coworkers are supporting him in this. I sincerely hope that OP does go through with that lawsuit because stuff like this is very damaging to someone's reputation, and it's very hard to disprove some of the times, especially when both parties are saying that the other is lying.